Everybody, I'm going to call the meeting to order officially at 6:07 p.m. on Thursday, April 18th. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment. We don't have any new members that we need to discuss. So we can move right into approving the minutes from the last meeting. If I can have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Soto, and seconded, I think, by Mr. Lubold. All those in favor, if you can raise your either physical hand or digital hand.
6. Jessica, do we have a vote for you? Jessica, can you hear us?
Yes.
Was that a yes? I'm going to take that as a yes.
I'm going to take that as a yes.
Oh, and there's Kevin.
No.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, she raised her hand, so we're good
Yeah.
on the yes.
Okay.
Any opposed? Assuming none, please be vocal if you are. Okay, great. Minutes approved. Moving right along, we'll turn it over to Margaret for some updates.
Well, and actually, I'm going to turn it over to Petros and Chris,
Perfect.
who have their finger on the pulse of the construction activities at this point and the agenda.
Awesome. Chris, I will give a brief construction activities update, and then if you want to jump in, fill in some gaps, and also talk about the administrative and submittals and RFI process.
Sure.
So,
Hold on, guys. Anya, did you have a question, hon, or is your hand just still up? All right, you guys can go ahead. Sorry, thanks.
no worries. Thanks, Aaron. So, a lot of production since our last meeting. We have taken over the site, Fontaine, that is, mobilized officially in early March, but really the site, with Gagliarducci, the site contractor, and Marguerite, the concrete contractor, they've made quick work since our last meeting. To date, they've poured about 500 yards of concrete. They began forming and pouring footings right away. They've also started to form and pour the high retaining wall, which is the western, is it the western wall, Chris? So we were out there last week with Erin, Kat, Sean Mangiano, kind of walking them through the site. We're out there weekly on Tuesdays for our weekly owners, architect, and contractor meetings. Up next, we're pouring another 22 yards tomorrow and 77 yards on Monday. They're going to continue those foundation efforts. We're about 75% of the way complete with our foundations to date on footings. Other than that, Gagliarducci has delivered some storm drainage piping and underground utilities, plumbing materials to the site, and they're going to start working on that in the next week or so. We continue to test the concrete as we're pouring it. We're continuing with our geotechnical engineer daily, or every other day, to observe the excavation for footings to ensure that we're compacting and completing the work with suitable materials. This is the most important part of the building, the foundation, that is. So it's been a lot of coordination out there. They've been working hard. They got an A team, and we're definitely looking to keep this pace up because we're starting to really ramp up, which has been great. Chris, anything for you to add on submittals and RFIs and what that process has been like for you and the team?
Sure. So yeah, as Petros mentioned, things are moving pretty quickly on the site. We're continuing to support the contractor. Just reviewing their submittals for all the products that will be used in the building's construction, as well as any of the RFIs, which are requests for information. Typically just clarifications and questions the contractors may have on the documents as they go along, making sure that they are in fact, building it accordingly. So we continue to work with Fontaine on that and their subcontractors. Things are progressing, I think, relatively smoothly at this point. Nothing out of the ordinary. In speaking with Fontaine, They have indicated that the concrete contractor has been able to really man the site, given their workload, if you will, on other projects. So that's good news for us. They hope to be done earlier than they anticipated. And, once steel arrives in June, they'll start erecting that through the summer. I am going to share my screen. I do have a few photos to share with you. So these were taken last week when obviously the weather was a little bit nicer, but this photo is of the alternate one area in the dingle. You can see in the background the high school parking lot,
So I'm
and
not
they're
sure.
yeah.
I'm seeing your desktop. I'm not sure if anybody else is seeing your
Oh,
desktop.
okay.
Same. Same.
I'm gonna redo the share. I selected the wrong screen. Here we go.
And
My
while Chris is
apologies for
getting
that.
this, set up, we did in the agenda, and I can reissue it via the chat right now. We sent some progress photos with the package, so feel free to peruse those as well. But take it back over, Chris.
All right. So this is a view from the upper building area down into the dingle. You can see the high school parking lot in the background. Fontaine and their site contractor starting to prepare the area. So one of the nice things about the way Fontaine works, while they're doing the foundation work, their site contractor continues to do site work and site prep. This will obviously help with the schedule. So they're prepping the area to bring the bus drive and the sidewalk and pedestrian ways up to the school and install utilities in this area while they're excavating for foundations and footings around the school building. So this is kind of a view of the footings that they're pouring. You can see the reinforcing. They poured about 90 yards for this footing. This is the footing that will start separating the school building from the upper portion, the gymnasium, cafetorium, and the upper level, which you can see kind of at the top of the picture. So you see the amount of reinforcing that goes into the footings, etc. On the right-hand side, this is looking down along the line of the building that will kind of face the south, which is the area when you're first driving in. So they've kind of worked their way down from this, I'll say, demising wall between the gym cafeteria down along the outside edge towards the front of the building, which is near the Chapin Street entrance. And then this is taken from the northwest corner looking towards the Chapin Street entrance on the left and the entrance from South Street, if you will. So you can see the massive footing that goes between them. They were forming the wall, which is about a 14-foot high concrete wall that will separate the academic building from the community area of the gym and cafetorium. Since this picture was taken, this wall, for the most part, has been formed. They have poured a portion of it, and I believe they're continuing to pour the rest of it this week. So at this point, things are progressing along really well. We anticipate foundations to be done sometime in early to mid-June at the latest. Obviously, that's all weather permitting, but they've done a good job. Our geotech is out there, as Petros mentioned. He's observing and approving all of the subgrades below footings to make sure they have been prepared accordingly. They have been tested accordingly. Those tests have been coming back with a better than 95% compaction rate, which is what we need. And that allows the contractor to then form the footings, put the reinforcing in. The reinforcing is then tested, the subgrades tested, and then the concrete is poured. And when the concrete gets poured, samples are taken and stored. They are brought back to the testing facility and they're tested at, 7 days, 14, 28 days, etc., to make sure that they are reaching their compressive strength. At this point, I don't believe we've had any issues with the initial tests, so that continues to be an ongoing process. I'll be out there tomorrow with our structural engineer to do a, periodic review of everything that's gone on to make sure that what we're seeing in the testing reports is, kind of exactly what's going on. But at this point, there have been no issues. Everything seems to be moving along. The construction trailers are in place. Contractors continue to bring their trailers in and their storage boxes. So the site continues to evolve and will do so right till the end. Anybody have any questions? All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So next item on the agenda is to discuss the design subcommittee meeting, moving to May 24th. I guess Chris and Mark, if you have any input on that.
Yeah, so I spoke to our interiors. They're Susan Taylor, I think who we've met. She's going to meet again with the subcommittee, kind of review the color palettes that we've talked about and get everybody's mind fresh. And then what we'll do is we'll pick that up in the fall and continue to move forward. Summer, there's going to be people on vacation instead of school's out. So we'll get those processes going.
Great. Mark, and you're good with that date? You're on mute, hon.
Sorry, what was the date?
May 24.
May
Or does that
24th?
just mean May in 2024?
2024.
So you
Yeah.
guys can
20
pick the date.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to get together on the date because I'm
Okay.
away the 15th in Italy, so I gone for a couple weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll let you coordinate with Chris and then you guys can let me know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
what we'll
great.
do, Mark, at the end of April, I'll send out a note to you and the rest of the subcommittee members asking for a number of days and times that would be beneficial, and then we'll coordinate when everybody kind of responds.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, excellent.
All right, so school committee meeting progress and naming of the building. This is actually on our agenda for Monday's meeting. So we will be reviewing the proposed plan of how to best address it that the diversity, equity, and inclusion subcommittee came up with. So we'll be reviewing their plan on Monday's meeting. I would anticipate that going through just fine. So I'll update Margaret about that after. But if you guys want to see, I can, actually, you know what, Margaret, I'll email it to you too in advance so that you can see. But
That would be
yeah,
great.
so other than that, next steps would be our upcoming meetings. Thursday, May 16th, Thursday, June 20th, which like I mentioned, I'll actually be away. So I'll talk to Josh about running the meeting. And then Thursday, July 18th. If anybody has conflicts for our summertime schedules, just let us know in advance and we can reschedule if we need to. Like we said, we need 9 for quorum, so hopefully we can get that accomplished. So that's about it for this evening, unless anybody else has anything else that they need to discuss. All right, seeing nothing.
Make a
I will
motion to
entertain a
adjourn.
motion. Thank you so much.
Second.
Hold on, who had the motion?
Josh,
Anthony,
Okay,
Um,
all right, thank you, Mr. Soto. All right, all those in favor?
aye.
I'm sure everyone. If anybody's
Yeah,
opposed,
you
please
got
let me know. All right, great, meeting adjourned. Thanks for the efficiency, everyone, and we'll see you again around the block. Have a good night.
Thank you.
everybody.
Take care. Thanks, team. Bye-bye.
Have
Good
a great
night.
night.